All right, so this one's pretty cool. Small package, but this is something I have never seen before, and I had to buy the whole lot to get it. But it still wasn't even a bad price. I would have paid what I paid for this entire lot. I would have paid just for the one book. Got a mess to clean up later. These are smaller than I thought they were going to be. I might actually just keep the box and put them back in the box. So, I look at multiple sites and always looking for strange stuff, new stuff. And this popped up, and I thought it was really cool. So I started looking for it, and sure enough, after 2 days of searching, in the last post, I found this set, and it's got that paper smell, old paper smell. These were probably down in a basement, stored in a basement, but it's not like a bad thing. It's like that good, that paper smell you smell, and you kind of tell if it's in the attic or the basement. I don't know. It's weird. Never heard of this before. Never seen these before. But I'm kind of interested to read them because this is an entire year's worth. So the person who was selling this was selling year by year. So apparently whoever was into this collected these religiously. And this particular set, and apparently this thing ran from like, I think the early, either right around 1960 or right like 59, 58, from what I've gathered, all the way up till I think it was 2009. It may still be going. Maybe just that's what I came up to, but thought it was pretty cool. And like I said, there's one in here that I wanted, and this is Mum, or Magic, Unity, and Might. It was a magazine, or a booklet, magazine, pamphlet, whatever, how you want to call it, published monthly, about the Society of American Magicians. So I guess you subscribe to this, and you got this every month. This is the book. This is issue number, well, January's issue. And on the back they have ads, I guess, from the other magicians that buy ad space. But this book basically is it shows you tricks. It has articles by the different magicians in here. I guess, and then people teaching you how to do different magic tricks. So that was January. This is February's issue. Walter Jackson, and all the books look similar to this. They all have the kind of like this banner across the top. They have this picture in the middle, little thing on the bottom. From what I've seen, and it looks like basically from the start that I've seen these, which was like I think 1960, all the way up to like the 80s, they kind of kept this aesthetic the way it looks. So they're all kind of uniform, except for one that broke that aesthetic, and that's the one I was looking for. Here's March, and these look like these were never read, because these they don't look like they've been cracked open. They're still like nice and tight. So it looks like someone either maybe collected these, or these were extras, and they had extras and they just put them away unread. Maybe they thought they were going to be collector's items. April. June, and this one's pretty thick. This is like double the size. So it's June. So I've noticed each issue has like a special issue. Dallas Magic Circle Assembly number 13. This is January's. Let's see, February's is special issue Maple Leaf Montreal Assembly. March's was special Pittsburgh Assembly. This one didn't have anything on it. This one is the Cleveland Assembly. This double thick one from June is the Parent Assembly number 1, New York. So maybe these were also given out at the assemblies. Or after, rather. Special issue, The Magicians Club of Nashville, Ike Harrison, Assembly number 50. This is from July. And we're back to the thin format. So like I said, June one was special. Color Thurston, Assembly number 6, Baltimore. Put that one aside and read that one. And then this one is a thick issue as well. Special issue, Southern California, Los Angeles Assembly number 22. Harry Blackstone and 4 junior members. These seem pretty cool, though. Just flipping through them. This is October 1962. Chicago Assembly number 3. George E. Mueller, National President, SAM from 1962 to 1963. November of 1962, John W. Todd Petrie. There is no special reason for this issue. Now, here comes the main reason that I got this. And it's a little unfortunate. There's a piece of the cover missing at the bottom. It figures it would be this one and not one of the other ones. But I'm going to flip through it real quick just to make sure that there's not more to this that I know. So this is a thick book. It's the Christmas edition. And I'm not seeing anything. There's a story on Houdini. Okay. So I'll delve into this a little bit more afterwards, because there are names in here I kind of want to go through and see if one person's name is in this book. So let me flip this real quick. And looks like it's a bunch of staff and magicians in Nashville. Ah, this is it. So this is the December 1962 issue. And like I said, it breaks the aesthetic, and who else would do that but Steranko. So this is a cover Steranko did. Uh, and like I said, this cover broke this up. So kind of mundane and boring. And of course, Steranko comes through with this Santa Claus illustration with a reindeer playing cards. And then, of course, his writing on the side says, Mum, Magic, Unity, Might. Um, and I worked Steranko's tables at cons for several years. We did Baltimore Comic Con twice, maybe three times. Did a local comic shop. My local comic shop is where I first got in touch with him. Actually, I got in touch with him to do a convention for my local comic shop. And it was a series of back and forth, and he showed up. Funny thing was that convention, he was late, so I was sweating bullets because I thought maybe this guy was not Steranko, and I got scammed because we got him a hotel room. Nobody saw him show up. Uh, so I started thinking, well, did I talk to someone who wasn't Steranko and um, scam me out of a free room for a hotel room in Baltimore? And they're not showing up, and it's not Steranko. And then, of course, in typical Steranko fashion, he showed up, got out, came in. The whole convention was just in awe. I worked that convention with him. I worked another convention with him, local. He did the local comic shop. Did the first signing he ever did at a comic shop. He told me um, was at my LCS, so I got him to do that. I worked that table with him. Um, then he did Baltimore Comic Con 2 or 3 years, and I got him in touch with the promoters there. And I did New Jersey, New York, another New York show. I think it was it. But did several shows with him, and I'd never seen this book of all the. I mean, and those lines would start when the convention started. Those lines would be out the door to Steranko all day long. I mean, they were nonstop, and he was nonstop. He didn't sit down. Rarely he'd sit down, maybe when he signed something, but for the most part, he stood there and shook everybody's hand, had a one on one with every single person. Everybody got an experience. Um, but at Baltimore, line never stopped. New Jersey, line never stopped. New York, line never stopped. Baltimore, the line never stopped. The local show, the comic book store, the line never stopped. People were constantly coming up. Line was always at least 9 to 10 people deep, and then it would just fill back up. It looked like people were starting to peter off, and then all of a sudden you'd look up and you'd look around, and the line was wrapped around the table again. So it was crazy. And some of the stories there, I'll never forget. Some of the people that we met, some of the stories that were told. Um, it was a fun time, but I've never seen this book show up out of all the books. I've seen a ton of Hawk annuals, the Cap issues, the Nick Fury issues, Spy Man, the Rolling Stone, English Rolling Stone magazine with the Hulk on it. I've seen numerous his items, his posters, his books, his media scenes, comic scenes, those things getting signed. Um, I've seen figures come through, action figures come through. I've seen Funko Pops come through, but I've never seen that Magic book. I've even seen like two different Steranko and Cards books, two or three of them pop up to get signed. Um, but I've never seen this book. Um, and I've seen two of these books. So the reason why I went looking for this was a dealer posted his copy, which is a little bit better. It didn't have a chip missing out of it from what I remember on his at the bottom, but his was like nicer than mine. But like I said, when I went to go look for this thing, I lucked out and found it at the end, but I've never seen another issue of this since, and I haven't seen one before. Um, and apparently he was already a name. He already had a name for himself back then. I have a photo of his they signed for me from his Magic days um, when he was younger. Uh, and from the stories that I was privy to standing there and listening to him, he was a boxer, escape artist, a magician, art, and then became an art. Was an artist, a graphic designer, musician. But I did get to see him do a card trick in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We were at the table, and it was toward the end of the con. So there were still people coming up. He'd always have somebody, a creator would come up, a fan would come up, somebody would come up and strike a conversation or something. But we did have this like about 10 minutes, just about. It was kind of winding down, and I think it was the person who shared the booth next to us. They were just, I think they were just a seller, like selling comics. But they had a deck of cards. Um, and somebody else had like a I think it was a glass ball, and he kind of did the thing where like he like put it across his fingers and spun his hand, and it stayed in his hand. He spun it around and did that. Now the deck of cards he was a little rusty on, but he did it. He did the trick. He attempted the trick once, and just kind of had to get his finger movement back. And it was like he did it once. He made one mistake, and then he did it, and then it was like flawless. He just flipped the cards and his fingers, flipped the whole pack, and was shuffling basically. It was awesome to see. Because he said he hadn't done it in a long time. And I can't remember his age at this time, but I think he was like 77, 78 maybe. But it was awesome to see him do that magic trick. It was me, him, and the guy whose cards. We were only three standing there. And got a kind of like a little private show. It was pretty awesome. And um, I'd never he I had never seen him do a magic trick before. I heard him talk about it a lot, but I'd never seen him do one, and here it was. And then Kevin Eastman and his wife came up. We're talking, and the cool thing about that was with Steranko, he treated me as almost like if I was one of the guys. And that thing's kind of like, it's kind of like wrestling too, right? Like you're in that world, but they have like a brotherhood kind of a unspoken thing. Um, and like wrestling, they're amongst themselves. They have like I don't know how to explain it, but basically a brotherhood. Like basically they're all in it together. So he kind of like included me, just matter of factly, and introduced me to Kevin Eastman and his wife, and they were awesome people, really down to earth. Um, and they were talking, just openly talking about stuff. Um, and he also did that with me at New York with Basil Gogoth, the horror artist. We were right next to him, and he introduced me to him, and we were just talking, and like I was one of the guys. It was awesome. Um, but that thing, I think at that point I earned his trust, and he would like introduce me to other creators and uh, longtime vendors that he knew. Um, but yeah, it was a good time. I would love to do that again. I know now he just kind of does like local PA, which I'm not far from, but I just that was a great time just to sit there and listen to some of the stories firsthand. Um, and I guess that the fact that it was told like repetitively is why I remember them. And then some just stand out. Some were just Some were just awesome. We were in um, White Plains, New York, for a show, and we I think we were next to the Rosetta Girls. That could be wrong. It could be a different show I'm thinking of. But um, we were there, and it was me and Steranko only. And this vendor comes up, and I can't remember if she was like a comic book dealer or an art dealer, or maybe she's selling something totally different. But she had a lanyard on with her name on it, and she had come up, and I think I told this story before, but she had come up, and I don't know if she knew who Steranko was, but his paintings were behind us. So we had like a Planet of the Apes painting, a couple of Shadow book cover paintings. There was a Green Hornet painting and a couple other ones. I think there was like 13 paintings, if I remember correctly. It was like 10 or 13 because we had that many easels that we had to have. And these were the way he traveled was great too. He made like a travel case for him. It's perfect. So she's looking, eyeballing. She's like, "Oh my god!" And she's looking at the table, and then she's looking back at the paintings, and the paintings were like, if you've never seen them in person, like being on video or a photograph of them does them absolutely no justice. Being up close to them and seeing them life sized, as they are, and all the detail and the colors he used, and I think that he painted these things in like the 70s and 60s and 70s and early 80s. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful covers. Um, and there's like three of them that I absolutely love. Like I could stare at them all day. Um, and she was like looking, and she, she goes, she says, "Did you paint all these?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's all my work." And she's like, "Oh my god!" And then like they were like talking, just small talk. And then she was like, "Would you sign my lanyard?" And he goes, he's standing, he's like, "Take it off." And she like paused, like she was confused, like she just like stunned, right? And he does this thing with it with the markers, takes the marker and he does that with the marker. And I have a couple of the markers actually that he used. I would bring like a cash box with me, and it would have sticky notes in it. I'd bring change in case he didn't have change. I brought change with me, and then I brought different colored markers with me as well. So that way, because like one time the first show I did, he had black, he had silver, and I think he had blue. He had black, he had silver, he had blue. He wanted to use red. The red was fading, and he had a green, and the green was faded. So I started bringing markers with me, so that way he had them. So I still have them, but the ones he used. But he would snap it, and then he would sign the thing. Um, so he like kind of snaps, and he does like this like move, and he goes to sit down. And I looked at the woman, and I finally said, "Your lanyard, take your lanyard off." And she went, "Oh," and then she took the lanyard off, and she got red in the face. She took the lanyard off, and then he signed. He's like, "So who should I sign it to?" And then she said her name. He's like, "Classic," and then he spelled it out. She said, "Yeah," and he goes, "All right," and he signs it. And then he kind of like looks at it, and he hands it to her, and she like thanks him and walks away. And I looked at him. I said, "I think she was about to remove her shirt." And he was just like that. It was hilarious. Because I think that's what it was like. He told her to take it off, like that, and she just it was like, uh, but it was hilarious. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stories. A lot of cool industry talk going on at that table. Um, but yeah, like I said, I've never seen this before, other than the first time I saw it, and then I found another copy of it right away. So this is really cool find. Um, will probably try to at some point, very, very, very soon. Next thing he's at that's near me, I may go ahead and take the day off and make the trek up and see him again, and have him sign, maybe hang out with him for a little bit. Uh, we did a dinner in Baltimore. Um, it's supposed to be just a small group, and it quickly grew. I guess people were inviting friends, and friends were inviting friends, and yeah, it was supposed to be just the guys at the table and their significant others if they had one, which would have been about maybe 6 people, um, maybe 8 at the most. And then all of a sudden, one of the fans showed up, and we ended up, 2 guys ended up joining. I guess they saw us wall walking and just ended up joining in. And it quickly grew to, like, I want to say it was about 20 people, 22 people. Uh, and I don't think that, I think, as it should be, you're at the con, you kind of want to, you know, relax. Now I feel like you have to entertain people while you're trying to relax after the con, after you spent, what, 8 hours or 9 hours on your feet, uh, shaking hands and telling stories the entire time. He was gracious through the whole thing. I mean, he entertained everyone, but we're all human, and I think he kind of just wanted a small group, and it quickly grew, and it was unfortunate because um, there was people there that were taking up space that weren't even talking or anything. They were just sitting there. Some people didn't even order food. They were just kind of hanging out, um, and then kind of spread everybody who was part of the core group, kind of spread us around the tables, um, in between complete strangers that we didn't even know. Uh, so I kind of get that, like, when creators kind of done, especially ones that bring their family, that leave just leave them alone. Don't bother them, if they're a restaurant, or at a con, if they're a restaurant or whatever afterwards. You know, it's kind of like same thing with, like, wrestlers. Like, when wrestlers are getting off a plane or whatever, and there's people running up trying to get autographs and stuff while they're trying to get to their next destination, or just trying to wind down. I mean, I get it, it's your opportunity, but a lot of times it's just people don't have boundaries or don't know boundaries, and they kind of overstep. Um, but like I said, we went to one restaurant. It was way too many people, crowded in. It wasn't good. We left there. We went to somewhere else. Um, we ended up eating outside because there was no accommodations inside because the crowd was too big. And we were seated outside. But I had a good conversation with another creator, on the end. Uh, and basically, one person was up close, hip to Steranko the entire time. And let's say he was a fan, but and he's known Steranko for a while, but it was just kind of like, it was our time to kind of wind down. Um, it was kind of annoying. I'm gonna be honest. It was kind of annoying. Uh, and there was actually 2 places I wanted to go instead. But once the crowd grew so large, there was no way I could go to the place I wanted to go. There's a place called Lost City Diner. You can find pictures of it on Instagram and Facebook and on the internet. But Lost City Diner was on Charles Street in Baltimore, and it was an old diner. And then the people who took it over, um, outfitted the entire. It was so cool. They outfitted the entire diner with, like, sci-fi, like pulp magazine covers. Um, there was, like, a small spaceship hanging at the beginning of, like, when you walked in, you looked up. There's this really cool retro, like, 1940s looking spaceship. There was junk, just like random stuff that whoever did this threw together and made this stuff look like sci-fi equipment. Really, really creative and really, really cool, because you had to, like, really stare at stuff to figure out what the hell, like, some of these parts were on these this apparatus, and, like, um they had lights in them and stuff. So it was really, really awesome. It's all in the pictures. If you go online and look at the pictures, it's all in there. Um, Great food too. Really good food. Great prices. Um, They had like the old, like I'm not talking like retro or repro. They had the original like old ice cream and milkshake makers there. Um, they had like vintage plates that they served the food on. Just a really really cool place, and like I said, great food, great atmosphere. Um, it's a shame it's gone. It closed down. Um, I think like a year or two before COVID. It was kind of sporadic when they were open, and then COVID just kind of, I think COVID was like the final nail. It just did them in. But such an awesome place. Like I said, go in there. I wish somebody would have got video of the place like open live and like why people were moving around and stuff. I'm still looking for video footage to see if anybody put that up. But if you do find it, send it my way because I would love to see it. But that's one that I want to take him there. I want to take Steranko there because one, I thought he would appreciate number one the food. Um, he's not really. He's he's more about like eating healthy. But they did have healthy options there. But I thought he would really like the aesthetic of the place. Number one, two, on Charles Street there is the Charles Theater, and I don't know the date. I want to say it was 19. I want to say 1934, but I'm probably wrong. Um, Harry Houdini stretched a um, wire across Charles Street from the theater to a building across the street and did a tightrope walk on that street. Now I wanted him to know that that happened on that street, and I was trying to get him to go there, but everybody wanted to eat local, and I was going to get a Uber and have an Uber take us to to the diner and back. But once that crowd grew, it wasn't happening. Um, I could barely even get next to him to even suggest it. There were so many people like up talking to him, trying to get his attention. Um, but that was a missed opportunity for sure. Should have planned that out a little bit better, maybe earlier in the day, and had that plan set with him early in the day to go there. But I thought it would have been cool because he's into Harry Houdini. He's a big Harry Houdini fan. Um, for him, but it's been 32 minutes, a little longer than normal. But yeah, I'll end it here. But like I said, book I've never seen other than once before when I got it, and the person saw it from. But never came through, never got signed, never saw this book ever in those 5 or 6 times working the table. And I would get there in the beginning and stay right up to the end. I'd walk Jim out, help him load his stuff up, or stay behind and watch the table while they were loading stuff, and never saw this book pop through. So it's definitely a rare book for sure. Or it's just sitting in collections, or who knows. I don't know what the circulation of this magazine was, but I mean, imagine it was good for it to be going as long as it did. Like I said, it went from early 60s, late 50s, early 60s that I saw. It might be older than that, all the way up to like 2009. So I imagine it had a pretty good readership if it was going that long. So there might be more of these out there just sitting in collections, or antique shops or something. People have died off and their stuff went. But I'll put that one in a Mylar for sure. And like I said, hopefully get him to sign it. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. And I have a couple more auction wins coming, some pre-orders, and I think that's it. All right, thanks.